every step of the way. This plan presents recommendations to avoid measures that would negatively impact students, such as increasing class sizes, laying off teachers, or reducing instructional programs that are vital to a well-rounded education. Today, the administration will share their final recommendations for the board's consideration. Recommendations that will allow the district to move forward with a plan designed to strengthen educational opportunities, ensure equity, and rebuild the trust of our community. This is a pivotal moment. Confronting our challenges directly is the only way to ensure a bright future for El Paso ISD. Together, I truly believe we can chart a path forward that does prioritize equity, that delivers quality education, and fulfills our commitment to every student, regardless of their background or their circumstances. This work is not easy, but I'm confident that the decisions that are made today will create a path forward for our school district, for our students, for our educators, and for generations to come. And so, as I said, I'm going to hand it off to Dr. Carla Gonzalez to share some additional elements of the plan that we've presented in the over 40-plus meetings that we've had, specifically beginning in May through where we are today. Dr. Gonzalez.
Have some questions. Our staff, our team is here to answer those for you. I would like to go through the presentation, and then we will field all questions, concerns, and clarifications you might have. If you have a burning question that you're afraid you might forget before I get to the end of the slides, by all means, please share that with us so that we can be working on that for you. But I would like to take you through the information that we have ready for you this evening and for our community to go over again the recommendation. There are key factors influencing the strategic decisions that have been part of making this proposal that's before you this evening. Becoming an A-rated destination district that our communities deserve requires an unwavering commitment to academic excellence and student outcomes. We have also seen demographic shifts, declining birth rates that have greatly impacted our urban school district and the neighborhoods that comprise the El Paso Independent School District. We also have aging infrastructures. Although we have many new elementary schools that were created from the 2016 bond, the average age of our elementary still today is 65 years old. And then finally, we have funding challenges, and that it is multiple factors that are impacting our financial reality now, but also for the coming years. We have in our strategic recommendations one that covers academic excellence and, of course, our 21st century facilities. Additional academic programs, we have 9 schools that are currently underway and some very exciting, innovative programs, such as the Extended Day Learning Center. All of our elementary schools currently have after-school programming, but at AOA, Cielo Vista, Whitaker, Zach White, and soon Dr. Joseph Torres, we have Extended Day Learning Centers where we provide parents the opportunity for their children to be in a safe, educational, whole child development environment from 6 a.m. till 6 p.m., both before and after the school day. We know we have academic needs on campuses such as Barone and Hart, and so we're looking at various school actions that we can bring to those schools to help close the gaps for our students and build on our communities. And then we have very excited new programming such as Montessori that was piloted first at Moreno Elementary, and then Dr. Green adopted last year. We also have rebuilds in our plans. Fortunately, we have a wonderful partnership with the Department of Defense, and Logan Elementary is a shining example of that partnership. Much of Logan was rebuilt through DoD supports. A DoD defense grant provides 80% for a complete new rebuild of an existing elementary on the base, on military property. The school that will be enjoying a brand new campus as of August 2028 is Bliss Elementary. The next campus that is also on the DoD's list is Milam, which is also on Biggs Field. Both Bliss and Milam are two of our campuses that were identified as in critical facilities conditions. So we're very grateful that we have this additional help to bring those schools up to 21st century learning facilities. And then finally, we have potential future campus upgrades. 10 campuses that could be very positively impacted by a future potential bond. But again, the DDR plan is a plan that is not based on bond, because we know that that's something that is another very long strategic plan that has to be accepted by the community. But if a bond were available, the schools, the 10 schools that we would certainly recommend for upgrades, because they will continue to have for high, for low, or critical facilities ratings, would be Cielo Vista, Cooley, Douglas, Park, Hawkins, Hillside, Meseta ECDC, Nixon, Polk, and Sunrise Mountain. These are campuses that represent all areas and all pockets of our district and communities. The recommendation 3 is the proposed closure, which falls under the right sizing of this plan. And you can see on this map that we have our 4 zones of excellence: west, central south, central east, and northeast.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Thanks.
It's suspense. The phase 1, we have listened to the community, as they have mentioned. We have 8 recommendation campuses as part of this plan versus the 10 that were the original. In phase 1, we're recommending 6 closures that will have comparable sister schools. They represent, again, as you can see, all pockets of our district. 2 are recommended in phase 1 in the west zone. That would be Rivera Elementary and Putnam Elementary. In our central south, Lamar and Zavala. In our central east, Rusk Elementary. And then in far northeast, Newman Elementary. There is a phase 2 to this proposal, and that would be in our second year. That would be the 2026-2027 school year. It would be Travis Elementary, which is located right on the cusp of central east and northeast, and then Stanton Elementary in our northeast. Again, one of the recommendations of why moving at this time of the year is that we know how important transition plans will be for our students, our families, and our staff. And this does give us quite the runway through our spring semester in order to be able to accommodate our staffing, our priority registration, student selection, they selecting the school of choice, and then of course our families before any final transition, which would be August of 2025. Why we are here, as we have seen and we've mentioned in many meetings and in many discussions over time, we have been slowly declining in enrollment. In the past 10 years, we have lost enrollment 13,000 students, and we continue. And projections year after year are frighteningly accurate. Over the course of the 10 years that this chart indicates for us is that we have been steadily declining, and it is $90 million that is lost because of enrollment. Our funding as a school district, any school district, is tied to enrollment and then to the ADA, which is our average daily attendance. Not only do we have to have the students enrolled in our district, but it's so critical that they're here in our classrooms learning each and every day to maximize our funding. This shows us, these numbers, this data, it definitely shows us that, you know, in order to continue to provide high-quality educational environments and opportunities to our students, we have to evolve. Our world is evolving. As I always mention as a campus leader, we're preparing our students for a world we cannot predict. And so it is critical that we're able to evolve as the world around us evolves and as we prepare our students for that world ahead of them. This is the actual, without any action taken, we are faced with a $32.2 million deficit for the upcoming school year. And this is exactly the bigger pockets of where this 32.2 is made up. One of the dangers when we roll deficits over when we're unable, for many reasons, to adopt a balanced budget, our deficit budget rolls over year after year. It accumulates. And so that is the danger of always having a deficit budget at the beginning of any budget season versus a balanced budget. The second is the revenue projection. Again, as we've said, we are continuing to lose enrollment for a variety of reasons, and that is $11 million for over 1,000 students. That income that was lost is $11 million. The reinstatement of our workers' compensation district contribution, similar to what we contribute to our insurance, we contribute to those employees under workers' comp, is $1.4 million, which will be coming back into this budget. We also are continuing with some of our new initiatives that were adopted during this school year. We have had to override or revamp our gifted and talented curriculum from top to bottom. Even though we had a much beloved and long-standing GT program, Connections, Humanities, things that those especially have grown up in the district are familiar with, we were not in compliance with state standards on GT. GT is something that should be provided to all of our students, all levels, in all parts of the district. So we had to take time to go and make sure that we were in compliance, really redo our gifted and talented programming, and get that launched back into our classrooms. We also began this year aerospace engineering programming and AVID supports for college readiness and the Anderson Bowie theater patterns. We also had an expansion pilot of fine arts at all of our elementary school levels. We have been able to really bring more fine art offerings and opportunities to all of our elementary students. But this first year was a pilot and one that we would love to be able to continue. And then finally, one other new initiative that we began that is so critical for college and career readiness is Algebra for All. We had approximately 7 of our middle schools who piloted every 8th grader taking Algebra 1. And we will be expanding that to all of our 8th graders next year. Again, Algebra 1 is a huge indicator on the success that a student will have, not only for college readiness, but also career readiness. And we want to be able to extend that and continue with that wonderful initiative. The forecasted cost reductions for Phase 1, if the proposal is accepted and approved, this is how Phase 1, the right sizing, the consolidations, the closures, will help this overall deficit. Again, our forecasted deficit is $30.2 million. Phase 1 is 6 campus closures. That cost reduction is $15.5 million, $15,498,622, and I'll detail that for you just in the next few slides. We also have academic programming that we want to be able to provide to the potential sister schools as well as our consolidated campuses. And so we want to make sure that we have the funding available for our STEM, our STEAM, our fine arts programming that'll be part of our consolidated campuses. We also have a transportation plan that is $300,000, most of which is for the cost of fuel. But this transportation plan, as I'll outline soon, really enables us not only to provide transportation for those students impacted by this proposal in the DDR right-sizing, but also it really impacts our students everywhere throughout their zones of excellence from elementary, middle to high school. And then we also are asked often, these vacant buildings, the 6 vacant buildings from Phase 1, what would be the cost annually in order to ensure that those are well kept and that they are secure? That would be $277,444. It brings our overall deficit with the closure reduction cost to $18,394,946. I'd like to say $18.4 million. So again, it does definitely help in reducing the overall deficit. The 15.5, what these actual closures, consolidations would provide to us, these cost reductions for the 6 campuses, their sister schools, you can see $14.6 million is on personnel. Our overall budget as a district, 86% of our budget is personnel. So it's no surprise that the biggest amount amount of cost reductions would come in personnel. But in no way are these personnel reductions meaning a reduction in force. All of these personnel will be needed either to follow students or throughout our district. One of the real features of being able to consolidate like this is it will allow us to fill current and future vacancies, will decrease the need for long-term subs in many of our hard-to-fill vacancies, such as special education and dual language. Having certified high-quality teachers in every classroom is paramount to providing academic excellence. Also, you're going to see that there is operating and maintenance savings as well. 80% of the operating costs, the savings, the cost reductions there, are from utilities, things like water and power, electrical and gas. Other cost reduction areas would be custodial supplies, grounds, and preventative maintenance. The food service and the Title I, these cost reductions, again, we're utilizing these staff and other positions on other food service sites throughout our district. Everyone will have a position. We need them everywhere. Also, the Title I savings is, again, some of our Title I positions are critically important positions like our campus teaching coaches, our parent engagement liaisons. Those roles are Title I funded, and again, they will be part of our consolidations as well as filling current vacancies throughout our district. One of the things we've mentioned too is that the funding from the state is not adequate. Each year, per student, annually, we receive from the state $6,100 to educate a child for the year. As a district, we traditionally have always and will continue to always go above and beyond this to provide the best quality education. On average, the campus recommended for consolidations, both the sister school and our consolidating campus, our per pupil cost is $11,260. It's almost $5,000 that we're investing on these campuses over what the state currently allots per child. By consolidating, we're decreasing what we would be paying on top of the state fund to $7,479. We are still investing over and above what the state contributes to us, but it's $1,300 versus the $5,000. Pooling our resources allows for us to be more efficient, yet still focus on strong supports for our students and for our teachers. Our people. We will have 268 employees that will be impacted, and these employees are from administration to instructional support, faculty, office staff, cafeteria, and custodial teams. Already, we've identified placements for 236 of these employees. Of the 236, 110 of these are from our teaching ranks. Based on our annual attrition rate, attrition being people who separate from our district, whether they retire or they move on for a variety of reasons, we average have an attrition rate of 10% to 12%. That translates to 187 individuals annually, 187 every year, representing various positions, again, from administration all the way to our hourly and our support staffs. Because of this, we can guarantee that every employee impacted will have a position for the 25-26 school year. As we have shared with our communities during DDR3, there will be a core group who will transition with the students to the sister schools. They are counselor, social worker, parent engagement liaisons, traffic monitors, playground monitors. We know how important social emotional learning supports are for our students and our families, and we know that this core group of transition staff will be instrumental in being those friendly faces and that liaison between their former school and their new school. Many of our teachers and instructional staff will also have the opportunity to follow the students. Again, all employees will be secure in their employment. One of the plans that we're very excited about, not just because that this will really help our families impacted by this recommendation in terms of transportation, but we're excited about what this will do for all of our families. We currently run 180 routes. We are planning to increase to 220. The $300,000 that is budgeted to make this plan a reality is really for fuel costs. This is not about additional drivers or additional buses. This is really for the fuel costs in order to increase our routes. The reason we're increasing the routes is for the support of our families in any kind of consolidation and in going to a sister school. But they can go and have transportation provided for any school they select within their zone of excellence. So even if they choose the best option for them is not the recommended sister, they will have the transportation option for any school within their zone. What's also exciting about this is that this is really open to every student. As long as our families are selecting within their zone of excellence, transportation will be provided for them. Why this is groundbreaking for us is that until this time, really the only busing that we provided for many of our families who chose a special program or were accepted into a program were at the high school levels, and they generally were for our magnet programs. This really increases the access to open enrollment for all of our families. Also, an area of debate and wanting more clarification and understanding is what will happen to the facilities if they are closed. And so this is where surplus property sales becomes an important part of our discussions. We have 15 properties that have been sold since 2022. Currently, we still have 6 properties that are available. The recommendation tonight would add 6 more that would come on in 2025-26. The maintenance cost estimate for all 6 of these sites is $277,444. This is really the cost estimate, covers things like utilities, maintenance, insurance, telecommunications, and fire and intrusion alarm systems that would be maintained on these sites. Phase 2, if approved, would add 2 more. That would bring us to a total of 14 properties. The pledge is that these 14 properties would be gone within 5 years. We would have them sold, we would have them repurposed, but they would be utilized in some form or fashion or no longer part of the district footprint.